Yo, I'm back. All right, quick mic check as always. See if I hear myself. Yo, I'm back. All right, it works. Cool. All right, I'm just, again, I have today off work, so I'm streaming a little early. And I wanted to continue looking at some of these career mode apps. And the other day I looked at On Air Company, which I've used pretty extensively. And today I want to look at this one. Bring it up here, right here, the Skypark. So I've used this a bit too. I've used this one a lot less than On Air Company, but this is one of the newer ones by Orbex. It's specifically for Microsoft Flight Sim. And it's, you can see here, it's about $26 US dollars. Looks like it's on sale. I think I paid 30 something for it. So I guess maybe it's on sale right now. Oh yeah, right here. 21% with a partner promotion. Discount ends in 2 days, so that's good timing. Considered early access, so they have a Discord. And so this is another career mode kind of add-on for Microsoft Flight Sim. The other ones I mentioned before were On Air Company and let's see, On Air Company, FS Economy. I know there's one called Air Hauler 2 that I haven't used yet. NeoFly is another big one for Microsoft Flight Sim, and then the Skypark. NeoFly and the Skypark are just for Microsoft Flight Sim. Hey Oscar, what's up, man? Good morning. Good afternoon. So yeah, this one says exclusively for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So this is done by Orbex. If you've never heard of Orbex, they do a lot of add-ons. I've used a lot of their stuff for X-Plane. So they have like scenery add-ons mostly. So airports and big scenery packs that cover entire regions. So for example, you can buy like Southern California, just kind of enhance the landscape and the terrain of all of Southern California, which is cool. I've used that before, and they have their own like program that manages all these add-ons. But in the case of this one, once you install it, it just shows up, on your computer like a separate app, and then you just launch it, and it looks like this. Looks like an iPad or a tablet. So I already did this setup, but you go through a quick setup and it just asks you a couple of questions. They have like a career mode types now. So here they have two different modes. One is discovery mode. So this is just, you can do whatever you want basically. And then the other mode that I have activated is endeavor, which is a little more like a career mode where it has like timers and XP and reliability requirements. So it's like a score that you get over time. So you improve your reliability, and then you get bigger contracts to do that pay more, things like that. And then you'll see it says aircraft fleet management soon. I don't know how soon that'll be, but there's no sort of flight or aircraft management in this. So what's nice about it compared to On Air Company, especially how I use On Air Company, which is kind of on the like hardcore mode, is that you can just load this up and pick any contract you want, like in the world, and just do that flight. It's just like a good way to quickly find a route in a place in the world to fly around and have like a little mission for it without it feeling so complicated. Like On Air feels a little more complicated to me. Like you have to find the exact plane that you want to fly and rent it. You have to do like check rides for anything more than a single engine piston. So if you want to fly a turboprop, you have to do a check ride first and get certification to fly it or an endorsement to fly it and things like that. So this one is much more forgiving. It's just way more flexible. You can just jump in and out really easily. So the only thing it does really is just give you the way to fly, and it'll track your flight. And then you can just choose any plane at any time, and you can fly from anywhere in the world. So I could fly in the US, and then I could jump over to Germany and just zoom in on Germany and filter for flights here. There's a whole filter section, so you can choose like what type of plane you want to fly. So it'll find you contracts that are applicable or, are, what's the word I'm looking for? that make sense for that kind, that are appropriate for, you know, that type of plane. And then you can choose the type. So they have all these different types: bush trips, ferries and cargo, tours, and experiences. So these are all just different types of missions you can fly. And I think they're all cargo missions. I don't think they say there's passengers. I'm pretty sure it's all cargo. So here you can see it says, get the trailer LED lights from this place to this place, transport special packages. And then what's funny is there's like this Coyote one. These are the 3 virtual companies you're flying for. And the Coyote one is the illicit cargo trips. So here, transport counterfeit watches, move firearms, black market human organs, banned pharmaceuticals, like those kind of things. So it's kind of funny. That I don't think exists in On Air. I think NeoFly might have some sort of like, you know, drug running kind of stuff if you want to do some fake illegal cargo missions. So I was going to fly the DA40 today, the Diamond DA40NG. So I'll choose piston here. And then I also noticed that I haven't really filtered for type yet, but if you do experiences, I think it gives you more like iconic places to go. So you can see this one is just this huge flight, 1,700 miles with 27 stops. So it's basically like you're getting bush flights. Kind of like how, you know, Microsoft Flight Sim has a bunch of bush flights in there, but you know, these aren't necessarily bush flights, but they do go from airport to airport, kind of like a tour, like a guided tour, which is pretty cool. So for me, this is nice just because I don't know where to pick sometimes. Like I have no idea where I want to fly. It's a new place. So what I can do is just, you know, do this. So here's the one like Friday Harbor. Apparently Friday Harbor is an airfield that was the default airfield in Microsoft Flight Sim X, which I never played, but so these are all the possible routes you can take to get there. I guess this is just this might just be a thing for today specifically. It says it's Friday. Hashtag it's Friday. So here you can choose like which route you want to take. So I could, you know, choose this longer one, choose this shorter one. So here, this one's only 48 miles. And then I can click on it to get all the details. And these are pretty cool because it gives you like a cool background for a lot of these. So it has this whole explanation of what Friday Harbor is. See, it says right here, it uses the default airport of Microsoft Flight Sim X. And then some stats about it. And then it shows your XP and your profits and stuff. So this is not a cargo mission that you earn money doing, but it does show you, it just shows you the XP you'll get. And then this is your karma, which is if you're doing missions for, you know, the Coyotes, the bad company, or the other 2 companies, which are positive karma. So you can be evil if you want to. And then here it shows what types of planes are good for it. So piston. So it says it doesn't recommend these other types, probably because of the length of the runway, I would guess. So I'm going to hit save and then begin. And then it gives you a checklist of what to do. Hashtag it's Saturday. Oh, is it Saturday for you? Northeast Lance. Hey man, how's it going? So here you can see it gives you this checklist. So when you're ready to go, you just load into that airfield. In this case, WA25 Green Valley. That's just one of the random origins to get to Friday Harbor. So I just chose the short one. And then this is your checklist of what to do. So we just need to get there first and load in, and then we just need to fly to Friday Harbor. And then if you click on either one of these, it'll give you some details of the airport. So you see where it is exactly. So in Washington, Granite Falls, Washington, we're flying to Friday Harbor, Washington. And then the airfield that shows you, it's a grass strip, 1,400 feet. And then our destination is an asphalt airstrip, 3,300 feet or 3,400 feet. And it'll show like lit, unlit, the elevation, and it gives you like an aerial view of each one too, which is pretty cool. All right, so I'm gonna do this one really quickly. So we just need to go to WA25. So I'm just gonna plan that in here. WA25, Green Valley. And then KFHR is Friday Harbor. So 22 minutes, 48 nautical miles for a direct route. We'll just do the direct. Actually, I'm going to choose IFR really quickly just to see what approaches it has. So there's none, so it's just going to be visual approaches. All right, so we're just going to go direct. That looks like a cool route around that way, though. All right, and then I chose the DA40NG. There are two DA40s, and I think the DA40NG. Actually, let me check this real quick. I've been working on a spreadsheet of all of the aircraft and what they have in them exactly. So here, if I reference this, I've been putting this together over time, but this helps me figure out what plane has what equipment in it. So here I have the, I can sort by make really quickly. So right here are the two Diamonds down here on row 26 and 27. So I noted that the DA40NG, which is one I'm going to fly, is part of the standard Microsoft Flight Sim edition. So this means that everybody has this plane available. There's another one called the DA40TDI, and that one's the deluxe edition. And then the difference here, I can see that one has more range than the other one. The one we have standard is the NG has more range, and then it has an autopilot, whereas the other one does not have autopilot. So, and it has a G1000. So the one we're flying has a G1000 in it with autopilot. The other one has a GNS 430 in it with no autopilot. So it's almost like the difference between the Cessna 172 that has the G1000 that comes with the game standard and all additions to the game. And then there's the steam gauge version that has the 530, 430 and steam gauge instruments. That one's in the deluxe edition. So it's pretty much the same thing for this, for the Diamond. So we get the one that with the G1000 in it. All right, so I'm going to choose the NG. Does it matter what plane you use when doing these career modes? Not this career mode. So the one I looked at, was that yesterday or 2 days ago? I just did a live stream, I think it was 2 days ago, on one called On Air Company. And so the answer is that it depends. With this one's called the Skypark. This is the one by Orbex, and this one's like $25 American dollars to buy it. This one, it does not matter what plane you use. And it doesn't matter where in the world you are either. You can pick any spot to fly around in the world and any plane to fly around with no prerequisites. But when I was using On Air Company, that one's a subscription-based career mode. That one's a little bit different because it has different worlds, they call them. Basically like different servers with different rules. So they have 4 different ones. And I think the very first one may let you fly just like this, wherever you want with whatever plane you want. The one I use is called the Thunder server on Air Company. And that one is like very true to life. It tries to be true to life, where you have to get endorsements for the different planes. Anything other than a single piston engine plane, you have to do a check ride for to get the endorsement. You have to manage your money. You have to take out loans if you want to buy a plane. You have to, where you are in the world is where your pilot is, and you can only fly from there with the plane that you're renting. It's a lot more hardcore. This one is a lot more laid back. And then there's another one, let me bring it up really quickly. There's another one I'm meaning to check out as well. It looks like I have to update it. It's called NeoFly, NeoFly. NeoFly is free, and it's for Microsoft Flight Sim only, just like the Skypark is. I think the interface for the Skypark, this one is the easiest to use among all of them. You can see it's got like this really simple interface. So you just go to this contract section, you look around the world and pick a contract you want to fly. And then you can see on the one we're doing right now, I'll go back to, I think it's Conduit. This is our current flight. And it's just a very simple set of instructions. You're usually just going from one airport to another. Let me open up NeoFly really quickly while I'm talking about it. NeoFly. Oops, looks like I need to fix this real quick. NeoFly. Okay, here's what NeoFly looks like. So this is a free one. Let's see if I can blow that up. There you go. So NeoFly is the free one, and this one's really good too. So when you start, so I just have one pilot here called Kip. They just added this where there's pro and survival mode. This is pretty hardcore, but this one in survival mode, this is a new thing. You can make it so if you get in a crash, your entire profile is deleted. Like, it's hardcore. But you can customize that. So here you pick one of your starter planes. So I feel like NeoFly is kind of as complex as On Air, but it's free, which is nice. Obviously, it's easier to try when it's free for people. You start with one of these three planes: the Cessna 152, the Skyhawk 172 Skyhawk, or the X Cub. But then once you're in, you can buy other planes and stuff too. Let me just open this, see if it opens. I think the interface on these two are both kind of hard to use. It takes some getting used to. Here, let me show this really quickly. So this is the NeoFly interface. So here I go to mission. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this one is also like On Air, where your pilot is where he is. So like right now I'm at this airport, Springerville, and I can only accept missions from here. So there'll be a list of missions like this. And so as you choose them, it'll show you the route. It's similar to how On Air Company is. But it's, again, a little more hardcore. Like, you can see here are the airplanes available at the airport I'm at. So if I want a different plane, I need to find the plane at an airport and then buy it or rent it. I think you have to buy it only. Anyway, it's a bit more complicated. Something that's really cool about NeoFly, though, that I think is a big bonus, is they have much different types of missions. On Air Company and Skypark both are just airfield to airfield missions, like take cargo or passengers from point A to point B. NeoFly has some unique ones, like these drop zone ones. So this is a drop zone one. You have to go and land within 2 nautical miles of a specific area. So here it's having us land over here near this river. So this is really challenging compared to just landing at airfields. This is an emergency landing mission. You make a lot more XP and money by doing these dangerous ones, and you have to, find a spot to land, in an open field or something. So that's kind of neat. And then this one, they have this interception mission. So a search zone. They have a few that are similar like this. Instead of going to a specific airfield, you go to a specific latitude and longitude. You have to get to that specific area. I don't know what the intercept intruder is. Like, maybe this is made for people that want to fly a jet, fly like a military intercept mission. Yeah, more bush flying. Yeah, they have ones that are also just airport to airport. You would fly them with like a GPS flight plan and all that, like long distance ones, but they have a big variety of missions. You can see here in the list. Oh, actually, you can't see the list. Sorry, this list doesn't show up on the stream when I click it, but it says passengers, cargo, express, sensitive, VIP, secret passengers, emergency, illicit, tourist, and there's a few other ones, humanitarian, airliners. So anyway, there are a lot of mission types there. So I would definitely check that out too as you're figuring out what you want to play. And I'm trying all of them, just to know the difference really. And I like Skypark because it's kind of the opposite of complexity. It's you hop in, you pick a spot you want to fly, and then you just go and you choose whatever plane you want, and anywhere in the world at any time. It's really flexible. All right, so I'm going to go back and load into this one now. Yeah, no problem. All right, so I chose here, Greenfield Valley. Sorry, 1 second. All right, so I'm gonna start. I just am doing the planning here. Sometimes I'll do the planning in the sim itself, you know, using the G1000 or the 530 or the 430, but for the sake of time, when I'm doing this off stream, like just casually flying around, I'll do it. I'll just do a lot of the planning here, unless I want to practice doing it inside the cockpit itself. Anyway, I just picked the 2 in the from here, and we have it as direct, and I'm going to load in right on the runway. And I'm going to use the DA40. I want to make... I have plans, but I haven't done this, obviously. I want to make a series of videos just for people new to flight simming, because I think there's going to be a lot of people that start simming when the Xbox version of this comes out. And I think it's really intimidating once you finish the tutorials, the 8-part tutorials that are in Microsoft Flight Sim, like built in. After that, as soon as you do that, like I remember when I did it, I was like, what do I do now? I guess I want to fly near my neighborhood. I want to fly near, you know, the Statue of Liberty, like whatever. And I didn't really know what plane to pick. There's so many available, even in the standard version of the game. So I think it's good. Like what I want to do is make some starter guides for different planes. I think the DA40 is awesome. Like it's in the standard edition of the game. It's got a G1000. It's got like 180 degree glass like windshield with no obstructions. It's like really nice to look out of. But yeah, you're still really new at it. Need to put some time into the flight sim. I mean, I think it's having something like the Skypark, I think is really, really good because it can be really daunting to figure out what you want to do after you take the tutorials. The bush trips that are built in are awesome. I think those are like really challenging, like just flying by paper, you know, looking at a description. That stuff's pretty challenging. But yeah, you always go to a place that you recently paved. Peace Air Force Base. Oh wait, did we just talk about that with someone was just commenting on one of my videos yesterday. I forget, sorry if it was you, but someone was mentioning about Peace. Is that in like New Hampshire area or something like that in New England? I had done a flight and they said, oh, it said the Peace Air Force Base, but you were going to Plymouth or something like that. Anyway, I forget exactly what happened, but that sounds familiar. All right, so we got a grass strip here. Yeah, this is the DA40NG. Looks like we're loading in a bit still. Oh, Portsmouth. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't catch that in the video that when I flew, it said something different than the airport I had chosen in my flight plan. All right, this looks pretty good. So one of the reasons I think the Diamond is just awesome, I kind of wish I flew this first. It's a little different. The wingspan is like a good 2 feet wider than the Cessna 172. But what's really cool is in terms of simplicity, the controls are just so compact. I feel like it's less intimidating. There's no mixture or prop control, right? It's just a throttle because it's a fuel injected engine. So there's no, so the mixture and the throttle are actually computer controlled. It's a constant speed prop, but it's computer controlled. So you only have a throttle lever, like that's it. So I feel like it's way less intimidating than looking down and seeing 2 or 3 levers down here when you're a new pilot. And then the G1000 is obviously like really nice. You have your navigation and your instruments and your autopilot all in one area, because when you're in the other planes, like it is cool to fly the steam gauge ones and stuff, but when you're using the sim, it's really hard to move your camera around. It's like super unnatural. You have to like, all of a sudden you're using your stick or your yoke or your throttle, and you have to like take your hand off, reach for a mouse or a keyboard and right click and zoom in, and it's super weird. So what's nice about the G1000 is if you learn some shortcuts like Control 1 and then hit Control 1 again, like you can really quickly just zoom into what you need to do on, say, the autopilot or the radios, or if you learn control 3, it goes over here, or to look at the map like this. It's just fewer spots that you need to look in the cockpit. And there's nothing like more immersion breaking than having to use your keyboard and your mouse. You know, like you just want your hands on the controls. So anyway, I'm planning to make a video just on like a getting started guide for beginners based on what plane they're flying. So, and recommend some planes. So the DA40, the Skyhawk, maybe the SR-22. I think that plane's really fun to fly too, and similar to these. It has a de-icing system too, so that's cool. Anyway, all right, we should start flying. All I'm gonna do is just update the altimeter by pressing B, make sure our altitude's correct, and we'll just go for it. And it looks like this is not, it's so cloudy, this is not a VFR scenario here, but we should have an IFR flight plan. See if we can just stay under the clouds. So rotation of this is supposedly 70 according to the game, but I think in real life it might be less than that. It's a little close there. All right, and I'm putting flaps up. And I assume that's obviously an untowered airport. I like to just turn radio comms on here when I'm just flying around casually. So there's this AI control menu and you can turn on manage radio comms, and that'll delegate all the ATC responses to the co-pilot. So you can see it's contacting Seattle Center right now. It's gonna get flight following probably. Yeah. You got kind of overwhelmed not knowing where to go. Yeah, career mode. Yeah. Yeah, I think the Skypark one, like, I don't like recommending things that cost money because not everyone wants to spend money on something like that, but something that's nice about the Skypark one is it's a one-time cost. It's $25, whereas On Air Company is a subscription. NeoFly is free, but it's a little more complicated. So in my opinion, the easiest one to start with is the Skypark. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Speaking of the Skypark is I didn't pick up I didn't even start our contract. Great, good job. Begin. So I need to restart this. Whoops, I messed up. I'm just gonna hit restart. So this is the hard part. I've done this so many times in every career mode that I've played, any of the programs. If you forget to start the flight, you could be like an hour into the flight and be like, whoops, I didn't start the flight. All right, so now see, it's detected that I'm on the ground here at Green Valley Airfield. So now I can hit begin. Papers are in order, follow the plan and complete the contract. It does have this plan flight button here. This is like a moving map that's within the Skypark app. So if you have like a second monitor, you want to have this up while you're flying, you can. It's totally optional though. Like, you know, in Microsoft Flight Sim, we have the same flight plan programmed in. And if you do anything more complex than a direct route, then you'll actually need to import that into here to get it to show up right. So I don't think that this is all that useful for the flight plan. It is possible that they're doing this because maybe they'll offer flight plans here, like give you optional routes you can take, which would be cool, instead of having to go find those routes. But anyway, I don't really use this screen. I just keep it on this conduit one, which is, we're one right here at the top. This is your current mission. So yeah, so now all we have to do is take off and go to KFHR. We'll go to Friday Harbor and land 3,400 foot asphalt runway. So let's try this again. So yeah, make sure you start the mission before you take off. In On Air Company, you have to do a bit more too, because it takes time to load the cargo and to load the passengers, and you do fuel planning. And you also, so you need to manage your fuel, and you also need to, what's the last thing? the weights and balances change. So in this add-on, I don't think it actually changes your weight and balance. So this is the default 170 pilot and front passenger, and the fuel is just 50-50, so that's all default. So in Skypark, it doesn't manage your weight of your aircraft, but in the other ones, I think NeoFly does, and On Air Company definitely does, where it'll actually change the weight and balance of the plane before you take off based on the cargo you're taking. And you have to play that game of figuring out, okay, say you want to do a longer flight, well, you need more fuel, so you can't carry as much cargo because your gross weight. So all that stuff comes into play with On Air Company. So again, in all those respects, Skypark is much more straightforward. You just hop in and go.
Squawk 7526 Diamond Kilo, India Papa.
Diamond Kilo India Papa radar contact 2 miles south of Whiskey Alpha 25 1,400 feet. Altimeter tree 0.26.
Copy Diamond Kilo, India Papa.
Something really cool about On Air Company though, like because it's so much more hardcore is, and I think why it justifies the subscription cost, is they have virtual airlines. So you and friends can make a virtual airline, and it's like managing a business. You like have a fleet of planes, you can build an FBO to sell fuel. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty in-depth. So it's definitely more for the hardcore use cases.
Diamond November 21 Kilo India, Papa 2,200 feet. Diamond November 21 Kilo India, Papa Victoria approach, continue as planned. Altimeter tree 0.26.
3026 for the altimeter. We already have that in. I just hit B on the keyboard to update it. All right, we're just going on to our course here. And I like how straightforward this plane is to fly. It's just, so once you're up, you just do full power for takeoff. And then once you're up, you can just set the throttle between like 60 and 90%. You can see that over here, this load marker right here. So between 60 and 90% is your balance between fuel economy and speed. And again, because this plane basically has a fully computer controlled propeller speed, and it's a fuel injected engine, so there's no mixture control. So all you have to deal with is the throttle, which is really nice. All right, so let's see, we have 44 miles to go. This is further than I thought it was. All right, I'm just gonna keep even though we should only be around 90% throttle, I'm gonna keep it maxed out at 100 just to save some time. We got enough time to pop out over these clouds too. That'll be cool. We should go above real quick and see what it looks like up there. I'm just double checking here to make sure that it's going. So I checked the first one off here. So it says just 48 miles to get to Friday Harbor. We shouldn't be flying through clouds because we're not, we don't have our flight plan in or anything, but forget it. We're going to do it anyway. Got to do it for the view. Oh no, there's icing. Nope, never mind. Nope, we're going down. Never mind. This is a bad idea. I think in the next update, there's going to be an update to the icing effect. So I'm pulling the throttle right now. So this icing effect, you see how it just goes from 0 to 100? This has been a thing since the game came out, but I think in the 2 weeks from, well, 2 weeks from yesterday, actually. So not next Thursday, but the one after is sim update number 4. Part of that is they're improving the icing effect, so you can disable it. I think it's gonna have some level of like build up instead of what it does today, which is just which is just like 100% or 0%. All right, we're getting down. It's a little warmer. It was -1 up at that cloud, so we're at 0 now, so this should melt off. And our airspeed's good, so we'll hopefully not drop like a rock. I've dropped out of the sky I don't know how many times because of your mixture. Yeah, just because if you get higher and higher, right? As you get higher, if your mixture is still full, then your engine performs worse. So yeah, you can. De-icing doesn't work for you. Yeah, I've had luck with it in some of the planes, like the TBM, it works for me. And I think the 208 Grand Caravan, that seems to work too. In terms of like, I won't crash, like the engine won't be totally affected by it and end up stalling the aircraft. And then the windshield ones seem to work right, but the ice on the wings doesn't ever seem to go away. Once you have ice, it just seems to always be there. Oh, the de-icing stopped working. Oh, after the last update. There was a patch yesterday. I don't know. I don't think it changed anything with de-icing though. Windshields are the only ones that work. Oh yeah. I think just like 2 days ago when I did this stream for that on-air company add-on, I was flying the 208. I was flying the Grand Caravan and we went into some icing and I turned it on. The windshield icing went away immediately, but the wing and like the elevators, like everything had ice on it still. Like that might be realistic though. I don't think it actually will get rid of all of it right away, right? Like you still have to go down to warm enough temperatures for it to all melt off. But it's cold right now. It says it's 2 degrees right here. You have outside air temperature, so we're at 2. And actually I should have I don't think it's on. Where's my pitot heat? That should be on. Huh. I can't turn it on. Oh, I know why. Why I can't turn it on is because I have it on a switch. There we go. I have it on a switch that's on my throttle. So I had to use the actual switch in real life, which is always awkward. To touch a real switch, not a virtual switch, kind of weird. All right, I'm a bit off course here. I need to go to the left here. Just not realizing I had to use it, not just on the ground, set and forget. Yeah, sometimes I'll forget to even look at the temperature and then take off, and then like my airspeed indicator will just stop working because I forgot to turn on the pitot heat switch. And that happened the other day when I was flying the Caravan. I got into icing, and like what I was doing was looking at the map. I was like all zoomed in here, like going through some flight planning stuff or something like that. And then I looked up and all of a sudden I see the entire windshield covered with ice. And then the airspeed indicator is just red. It just says 0 and it's all in the red. And I was like, oh, great. Rest in peace. We're done. But I was like, oh, right. Pitot. Just turn on the anti-ice, turn on the pitot heat switch, and we're good to go. Notice that it's hard for me to zoom this out. Usually you can use the controls from a distance. So like if I'm in this view, usually I can get my mouse down and use some of these knobs. But in the Diamond, it seems hard, like just the way the default camera is. I have to like zoom in quite a bit to be able to roll this knob here to change the range on this one. All right, I'm gonna turn the autopilot on so I can get some drone stuff going. Try the drone camera out. So I just hit AP, I hit nav, so it'll follow our GPS flight plan. And then I'll hit altitude. We should be in a 1500 foot or a 500 foot increment because we're flying VFR, no flight plan. So this will take us on to the route, and then what do I want to do? I think we should go up a little higher. We should go up to 2,500, I think, or we can go down to 15. It's pretty flat here. We can probably do 1,500. Play by the rules. Vertical speed, nose down. There we go. Am I in the honeycomb ecosystem? Yes. Yeah, I have the Alpha and the Bravo. I'm using the Bravo today, but for the, I'm not using the yoke. I'm using the Airbus side stick, the Thrustmaster one. I like this stick just because it's really convenient to just put it on the side of my desk when I'm not using it. So I kind of use the stick a lot. Sometimes when I'm really lazy, I'll only use the stick, and it has like a small slider on the bottom of the stick, and the default for that little thumb slider is throttle. So I could fly just with the stick, and then it has 12 buttons, 6 on each side of it on the base of the stick, and all of those I can program those for like my pitch trim and my elevator trim and things like that. So it's not too bad just having a stick. And then I just use the keyboard to, you know, do anything with the avionics in here. But the honeycomb stuff is all amazing. The Alpha and Bravo are just really, really good. My girlfriend flies for real, and she said that the Alpha, like the yoke is very tight. Like the way a lot of the yokes work with the springs and like the tension where they default to this like neutral position is unrealistic compared to the planes she flies. She flies a Piper. And besides that, it's good. Like it's very sturdy. The quality is really good. All the switches on it are really nice. This water looks kind of unimpressive. What's going on here? Sometimes the water looks really good. I think it's just when the water is calm, the reflections don't look too amazing. And then the Bravo, the throttle quadrant is also really good. I think the coolest thing about the Bravo, you know, the levers are okay. The levers are good. They're just what you would expect. Having the flaps control is pretty nice, but I think the pitch trim wheel is like the coolest thing. 3037. So I hit B to update that. We're a little high. We might need to go a little bit higher. I don't know. I guess we're good. Yeah, the Bravo is really cool. You have both of them as well? Alpha and Bravo? Nice. Yeah, I didn't think I would have the Bravo for months, and then I just happened to be on the Microsoft Flight Sim subreddit, and someone there posted, hey, the Bravo's in stock on X-Plane store, which is ironic, because it's on the Microsoft Flight Sim forum, or on the Reddit, but anyway, yeah, I went there and grabbed it, and I had it the next week, so I got lucky grabbing it, but I had a pre-order in with like Adorama, and I know B&H Photo had like a notification I was subscribed to. You know, I just subscribed to all the notifications. But yeah, it's great. And what's really good about the Bravo is the autopilot controls too. So you can set those up. So I have mine set up. So one of the knobs, for example, you can choose like, if I'm changing altitude, I can use the knob to change the selected altitude there in blue. And then with the same thing, I can switch to heading mode and then use the same knob to change the heading bug right here. So I'm changing the target heading. So it's really flexible, and it's nice that it's like generic too, because it'll work with all the planes, since it's just setting those shortcuts for the autopilot. I haven't even really dove into all the switches. There's like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 7 switches on it too that are just toggle switches up and down. I have one set to parking brake right now. But yeah, the pitch trim wheel, I think, is the best part of it. Especially since I switched sticks. The flight stick I'm using only has one thumb joystick or hat control. And so I use that for this, you know, for glancing right, glancing left. Some of the other sticks, like the Logitech ones and some of the Thrustmaster ones, have multiple thumbsticks. So I had set one of those on my old stick to use pitch trim up and down, like an electric pitch trim. But since I'm missing that now, I use it on the Bravo with the wheel. So it's really nice. So like the most essential things is like, you know, glance left and right like this with a thumbstick, I think is super valuable. Like I don't think I'll ever change it from that. And then you have to have pitch trim, elevator trim. It's just, you got to do it. I actually don't think the tutorials even cover using the pitch trim. You know, because they're just doing a circuit, you're just doing touch and goes and a landing, takeoff, circuit, and landing. So I think that's one of the biggest things to learn is how to use the pitch trim and how to set the altimeter. Because so many times people will post on the forums and post on the subreddit and they'll be like, what's wrong with this game? It keeps telling me to climb and maintain whatever. Like, and people are like, your altimeter, dude, your altimeter setting is wrong. You're not at the altitude you think you're at. I'm passing by another one. There's an add-on that I got that's in the marketplace that is, it's like a scenery add-on for the airport textures. I don't know if they're loaded in right now. I think you might need to get lower to the ground, but it replaces all of the textures for the runways, the taxiways, and stuff like that with like a more realistic looking ones, like even higher quality. It's pretty cool. I forget how much it was. I think it was like $10 or something like that. But those kind of add-ons are awesome. And there was another one that adds different ground vehicles. So it'll add like food service trucks and police vehicles and stuff like that to give it more variety of the ground vehicles. Those are both in the Microsoft marketplace. All right, so we're getting close here. We're at, oh, game's freezing. Oh, we're back. I was just stuttering for a second. All right, so we are 8 minutes away from our destination from Friday Harbor, so 16 miles. And if we go back and look at the Skypad, or the Sky, I think they call this the Skypad. You almost think it's better to do that than using a head tracker. Yeah, I tried the head tracker briefly and it felt really unnatural to me. I didn't like it at all. I was kind of weirded out by the head tracker. Let me move this over to the side. There we go. Yeah, the head tracker was just weird to me. Having your monitor is in a fixed spot, and when you move your head, it changes your perspective on the monitor that's in front of you. It felt weird. I felt like I was like trying to look with my eyes straight forward while moving my head, but keeping my eyes in the same spot was really weird. Okay, here's, so it says Friday Harbor, so the runways are 16 and 34 at 92 foot elevation. So 16 and 34. So what I'm going to do is just go down here and set my heading bug straight ahead and switch to heading mode. So it's keeping us in heading mode. It says low fuel because I left it at the 50%. So we'll switch to tank, right tank. And then, so we know that it's 16 and 34. So let's just look at the wind. The wind's pointing to the north right now. 5 knots, so hopefully we want to fly into the wind, so we want to fly southbound. So we want, probably the 16 would be better for us. So I'm going to set up for the 16. So I'm going to do that with OBS. So I hit OBS here, and then I'm going to dial in on this course knob of 160. And so on the right there, oh, sorry. So on the right there, as I'm doing that, you can see the course changing. So I'm turning this to 160. And this will give us a magenta line for the runway heading. So there's 160 right here on the course. And so now we have this visual guide here showing us, we see where the airport is exactly, and we see where the runway heading is. So if I want, what I can do now is just take our heading dial, right, our heading knob here, and turn it to the right. and turn us to the right more and come up this direction and swing out a little bit more if I want. And then I'm going to zoom the range in a little bit. There we go. You wish they would fix the altitude and the speed so that we could go without a set fee?
Tower Diamond November 21 Kilo India. Papa
Sorry,
11
Dick. I don't know if
southeast to
your phone like auto corrected or something. And I'm confused.
Diamond November 21 Kilo
Fix the
India,
altitude and
Papa
speed so we could go without a set fee. You're worried that you work for who? All right, we're getting closer here.
Enter left traffic runway 16 Diamond Kilo India Papa.
All right, left traffic for runway 16, did it say? Yeah, so we were going to set up for 16 already. And is that the airport right there? It's like off to our left. It's over here somewhere. Oh, I think I saw a light. Is it like right here? Sometimes it's so hard to see it. I'm going to turn to the left more. I mean, we're going to go left traffic, so we're going to go towards it directly. And then I'm going to start slowing down a bit, and then we will figure it out. And I'm going to go down a few hundred more feet. We're going to go down to 1100. That should roughly be the the traffic pattern altitude, because it's at about 100 feet. So plus 1,000, that should put us in traffic pattern altitude. And it's supposed to be a 4,600 foot concrete runway. So I'm just not seeing it yet. Where is it? Is this it right here? I think this might be it. No, it's further. Oh, it's across the lake, that's why. Yeah, we have to go across the lake still. So this next, yeah, so it'll be right to the left a little bit, right over here. Right in this area. So we're gonna wanna swing out this way and make a left-hand base, a left-hand final, and then land right over here. Oh, you use the head tracker for your truck simulator? I guess if you had like a big enough monitor, or I know some people will put up like, they'll use a TV instead of a computer monitor, just have a really big display for simming. Maybe it's less, it's not as weird if you do that. I haven't tried VR yet either. I don't own VR, but people seem to say VR and this is like a game changer. People seem to love it. I just have enough stuff already, like between the throttle quadrant and some of the real sim gear stuff. I like interacting with the hardware, like turning the actual knobs. So I think VR would be a little bit awkward, just because like, how do you find the switch on your throttle? How do you find the, like, if you have a real sim gear thing for the GPS, or sorry, for the Garmin, like how do you find that? It's a little weird. It's pretty crazy how hard it is. So I think I see this strip right there. That must be it right there. Yeah, so it's right. Oh no. Yeah, that's got to be it, right? It's so hard to find sometimes. That's definitely it right there. I don't know what else that would be. All right, we've slowed down a decent amount, so we're almost in range of full flaps. All right, now I'm just gonna turn my heading bug to line up with that OBS on the opposite side. So I'm just turning the heading bug right there so it's lined up with that magenta line because that represents the runway heading. All right, there's the runway right over there. We're a little far, but that's fine. I'll just make a slower turn. We got some company.
Diamond Kilo India Papa cleared to land runway 16. Wind 072 at 7.
Yeah, you have to touch the switches too. Yeah, it feels so much more real. Like, I don't know. If I can grab, like, instead of grabbing the mouse, if I can turn a knob, it's just, yeah, it's so much better. Oh, voice recognition. Got it, Dick. You wish they would fix it so we could specify whether we want each click to change the altitude by 1,000 or 100. Yeah. Spinning the knob on the Bravo. Yeah, exactly. So it starts off in 100, right? And then if you spin it a lot, sometimes it'll like switch over and be doing 1,000 all of a sudden. I think is how they work. It can be a little weird. Yeah, something I like about, I have the G1000, the real sim gear one, and it has this altitude knob that has an outer and an inner. So you can use the outer for 100 feet, or the bigger one for 1,000 feet, and the smaller inner one for the 100 feet. It makes it really nice. But yeah, when you just have one knob, it can be a bit annoying. All right, this is a long base turn. So the Diamond, like with this, I feel like with the Cessna, it's so much more agile in the 172. In the Diamond, I feel like it's a lot more like stable and like needs a lot more space. I'm probably just making it up, but for some reason, it just feels a lot different to me because of the wingspan, probably. All right, so we're a little high. I'm pulling the nose up and pulling the throttle down. Pulling the nose up so we can slow down. All right, so I can go flaps now. We are very high. All right, I'm gonna try a slip with the joystick. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Full left rudder and bank to the right. It's pretty hard to twist and bank on a stick. I have rudder pedals, but just because of convenience, I really like just plugging the stick in. But yeah, it doesn't give you the best control. As you can see right there, I was like kind of struggling to to do that smoothly. Wondering why it's taking so long to reply. Yeah, sometimes I'll just not look over at the chat really quickly, and other times there's a slight delay. But yeah, it's mostly on me to look over at the chat room while I'm trying to fly at the same time. All right, not too bad. A little long of a landing. I feel like I touched down way too late. You do a lot of spinning. Oh yeah, spinning of that knob of the Bravo. Yep, already read that. Yeah, I love having that knob though. Like, it's pretty awesome that it's right there on the Bravo and it'll work for all the autopilots because it just sends generic commands. I was trying it a little bit in X-Plane. Oh, you rewinded. I see what you're saying. Makes sense. It is cool you can do that though. Like, I know some other streaming sites like Twitch and stuff, you can't rewind, but on YouTube, yeah, you can just hop in and rewind back, which is, it's awesome. I actually think it's a really cool feature. Or like if I do something and you want to see it again, you can just rewind 20, 30 seconds, watch it, and then hit live to jump back to live. This airport is cool. All right, we're at Friday Harbor with a ton of trucks. Excuse me, everyone. 'Excuse me. 'Excuse me, everyone. 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 'Excuse me, everyone Just gonna park at an angle here. Or not. All right, that's good enough. All right, parking brake on. And then what we can do now is go back to the Skypad. And so here you see, it says park and shut down the aircraft. So I need to shut it down. So I'm just gonna go back and, where's the fuel cutoff? I don't think there's a fuel cutoff. I think I just turn this master engine switch off and then avionics master. There we go. Did you hear that? It like cracked a whip. What was that? It goes nice. All right. I forgot that Skypark has some sound effects too. So like when you start a mission, it'll like give you an introduction. It'll talk to you. It'll make sounds like it's loading the cargo in and stuff like that. So now it shows that, you know, we finished it. So we got some XP. So that one is like a type, that's like a exploration type. So that's more about the scenic part, like, you know, not about the job, about flying people and earning money. So now we can go and check out more contracts and just pick the next one we want to do. Use your Xbox controller as a rudder. I tried the Xbox controller a bit too, and I think it probably needs a lot of sensitivity adjustments. Like I think that's the case with like every controller type. A lot of them seem just way too sensitive by default. But there's definitely going to be a lot of people using an Xbox controller soon when this comes out on Xbox. All right, so now we can pick another contract. So what's so nice and flexible about this, like, again, like I was saying about the other career mode add-ons, the more hardcore ones, I would need to take off from this airport next because we are at Friday Harbor. We would need to now find a job that goes from Friday Harbor to somewhere else, which is cool. But with the Skypark, it's just totally free. You're free to do whatever you want. Yeah, the Xbox controller is a bit tough. It's better than just using a mouse and keyboard though, for sure. Until you find rudder pedals. Yeah, you could also, unless you really need to slip or anything like that, unless you're trying to do slips and cool maneuvers like that, you can always just go to, sorry, there's a police car in the background here outside my window. You can always go to this assistance thing. If you don't know, this is here. There's this takeoff auto rudder. So like if you're not doing things like slips or you're not practicing coordinated turns, you know, like using your rudder in conjunction when you're banking to coordinate your turn, like you would do, you know, in real life, to my understanding, what you can do is just turn on this takeoff auto rudder, and that'll make it so your yoke, when you're banking left and right, that will translate to rudder pedal left and right when you're on the ground. So when you're taxiing, when you're taking off, first of all, when you're taking off, it'll do the rudder for you, so you don't have to worry about right rudder during the takeoff and during the climb. But when you're on the ground, when you're just taxiing around, you can just bank left and bank right. And this setting right here, even though it doesn't say it, it'll translate your bank to taxi, to rudder left and right for taxiing. So you could do away with needing the Xbox controller if you don't need all that advanced control and just turn this option on, which is really nice. So I'm just so lazy too. I have rudder pedals and I honestly I'm too lazy a lot of the time to hook them up. Because for me, I'm on a rolling chair. I did get a mat to put them stationary, but I have to like basically pin my chair in place by putting some stuff under it to hold it in place. Like it's just a whole thing. And I love the simplicity of just using the stick and just twisting for the rudder. It's not the prettiest or most accurate way of controlling it, but it works. And it just takes away more setup for me when I'm setting up, like after a work day or something like that. All right, let's find another one. I want to do like a cargo one. You guys can hear what it sounds like to do a cargo one. They have like sound effects and stuff that are built in. And we could do a different plane too. I could do something. Maybe I'll do the Diamond for one more, and then I'll switch over to like a turboprop or something like that. But what's cool is like I have no idea where to fly, so I can just zoom out and be like, oh, I want to fly somewhere in, you know, Central America. And I can just zoom in here and hit search and then just see all of these recommended flights. And then if you go to filters, I can again make sure it's appropriate for the type of plane I'm flying. So I think this will filter based on like the range, like how long the flight is. Speaking of work, I gotta go to it. Have a good night. All right, you too, Lance. Take it easy, man. Thanks for hanging out. So this is probably based off the range and then the runways that you're taking off and landing on to make sure that it's big enough for the type of plane you're flying. And then there's a couple more options down here. So require runway lighting. So if you're flying at nighttime, you might want that. Require ILS if you want to practice an ILS or something like that. Or if you know that you're going to be flying in super cloudy conditions and you want an ILS, you can just tick that box and it'll find only arrivals that have ILSs. You're also avoiding your rudder pedals because of your office chair. I just bought new wheels with brakes on them. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I finally got a nice chair because I've been working from home since the pandemic started, and I finally upgraded my home office chair. But it has rolling ones now without brakes, but that sounds like a way better solution. I've been putting like a piece of like rubber under the center of the chair to hold it in place. It's kind of a hack, but yeah, that makes sense. I should do that, Nate. Right, wheel brakes, of course. I don't know why I didn't think of that. It seems so obvious now. But I did put I got like an outdoor doormat that's like very thin and like rubberized on the bottom, and I have that under my desk. So when I put the pedals on it, it like grips on those so they don't push around. That helped too. A towel. Yeah, I actually, what I use is a rubber doorstop, and I put it under the middle of the chair, and it kind of rests on it a little bit where like the middle post of the chair is. I hope it's not messing the chair up, but it works okay. It's not too bad. Okay, so then what I can do is, yeah, just go down here and figure out where I want to fly. I don't want anything too long either. So under the filters too, there's just a bunch of filters here. Under advanced, it exposes all these other filters. So I can be like, all right, I don't want anything more than like 50 miles. You can choose runway length and runway type. If it's a multi-leg mission, like say you want to fly something that's 2 or 3 legs, but no more, you can put that in here too. And then this is a sorting. So you can sort by, oh, that's cool. Topography variation. So if you want a more scenic flight, that's pretty awesome actually. Let me try that. And then it'll give you, this is the number one. This is the most recommended that it picked. We need to deliver ties, bow ties, and fedoras in Costa Rica. So 26 miles expires in a day. Whatever, I'll try this out. Save, and then I click begin. And then here are the details. So now we just go back into Flight Sim. Let's go under World Map and just do the quick flight plan. So we're going for MRNS, Nosara. Okay, so this is Nosara, Costa Rica to MRPA. All right, that looks right. That matches up what we have up here. Looks good. And then, so this one says, it just says we just need to load into that airport to begin. So once we get in, so this is interesting. So it says fees. So this is something new. They didn't have this the last time I used Skypark. And I gotta say, they've been updating this app very often. Like I think every week or two that I'm trying this, there's an update with new features, or they're putting in some relevant, like some new flying challenge, like some new area of the country with like a new, or some new area around the world to fly in, like a scenic kind of tour. It's pretty impressive how much they've been updating this thing. But this fees thing, I think, just got added. So you have to pay fees. Oh, relocation travel. So maybe I'm wrong. This is what I was talking about potentially. This is exactly what I was talking about a few minutes ago. All right, so you can see here, they must have just introduced this. There's a relocation fee to bring my pilot from Friday Harbor right here, KFHR, which is where we just landed, we have to pay $1,000. Okay, 90% discount. So this is more like the other career modes now that they've added this. But I do know this, so you do have the option to do that. But I know a few updates ago, under settings, they added this under gameplay. When I first started the stream, I showed this. There's 2 game modes. One is discovery. So this has no fees and no fines. Yeah, 90% nice discount. Hey, Amir. Yeah, so this is nice that you can do this. So I could do discovery if I don't want to deal with those fees. So if you want to fly it more realistically, then that's what this one is. You either pay a fee to relocate your pilot from where you last were, or you have to take jobs from your current location, or at least nearby it, so you minimize your fees. Or you can change over to discovery mode, and then this one just gives you all contracts. So if I hit switch, then it'll regenerate a bunch of stuff. Actually, I should probably just stay on Endeavor, just because I'm curious what it looks like when you do the fees and stuff like that. That is a nice discount though. So I guess as you level up and your career goes further in the career mode, then you learn, you know, it's giving you that discount, so you learn not to do this kind of thing that I'm doing, which is trying this job that's like thousands of miles from where I'm currently located. Failed. Wait, what? Oh, there we go. It was on the last mission. Anyway, yeah, it says, so I have to pay $110 after that discount. So if it didn't give me that discount, then obviously paying $1,100 to fly there to get $200, or sorry, to get $300 in pay is, I'm not a mathematician, but that doesn't seem like it's worth it. All right, I'll just do it for now. So we'll just go back to sim. So we have it set up here. It's only a 26-mile flight, but it looks like there's some high altitude around here. And if I switch to IFR, it doesn't show anything. Oh, and there's lightning storms. Good. That's great. All right. I mean, we should do this just because it could be funny. And if I check the airport info here, so the first airport is at 33 feet in elevation. The second one's at 158. Okay. And they're both 3,300 feet long for the runways, asphalt, but they're unlit. And then there's lightning storms, so that'll be cool. All right, so we need to load into MRNS. So I'm just gonna say, okay, we're gonna load in on the runway in the Diamond again. You know, it makes me wanna fly like the SR-22. I wanted to do a second flight than Diamond, so we'll just give it a shot. I like flying the SR-22 a lot because it's another, you know, it's a smaller plane. It's got the G1000 in it, and it's got a de-icing system, which is really nice. And it's quite a bit faster than something like the 172. So I'm a fan of the SR-22, but it's in the Premier, or the premium version of the game. So if you don't have that, you don't have access to it, but I think the Diamond is a solid choice. All right, here we are. Look at that car just driving on the grass. That's cool. It doesn't give you a suggested altitude. Yeah, it didn't. Oh, wait. No, I think it does, doesn't it? Hold on. I think it does give me a suggested altitude. Hey, Way High Blue, what's up? All is well. Sorry if I mispronounced that. There is something in here where it gives you, yep, here we go. So under the info, it conveniently gives you this highest obstacle right here. 26 miles, and it says we can take a piston or a turboprop. It says feasible. Or a helicopter if you have one of those mods. 2,000 feet. So I forgot it does tell you that, which is awesome. So you don't have to jump into your VFR charts or anything like that to figure it out. All right, we'll pay the $110 and begin. And we're there. So we need to load the pickup ties. So it's going to play a bunch of sound effects right now while it loads them. All right, and it says highest obstacle is 2,000, so we should go up for 3,000. I'm gonna hit B on my keyboard to set the altimeter. set our target altitude to 3,000, set us up for runway heading, and set us up for flight level change mode. And then I'm going to set our flight level change speed. I think the VY, according to Microsoft Flight Sim, is 90. Oh, it's 80, sorry. 80 is our best rate of climb, so I'll set this for 80. Yeah, the app is cool. I've talked a bit earlier about how I've used a bunch of different ones, like On Air Company, NeoFly, FS Economy. But Skypark is really cool just because I like how simple it is. Oh, sorry, I had that up while I was setting all that up. So I just set up the autopilot really quickly. So I synced our heading bug straight ahead, put it in heading mode, set our target altitude to 3,000 feet, updated the altimeter by hitting B on the keyboard. And then I turn on flight level change mode for 80 knots, which is our VY according to Microsoft Flight Sim. I don't know how accurate that is with compared to the real plane, but it says our rotate is 69. Nice. And our climb is 80. And then it set our transponder. 7,000 must be the VFR transponder code in Central America. Or what? Wait, where are we? We're in Costa Rica. In Costa Rica, or I don't know how widely it varies from country to country, but I'm guessing 7,000 is the VFR frequency for where we're at. Wonder if they're going to add the caps to the Cirrus. What is the caps? Is that the parachute system? Oh, it is. Yeah. Cirrus airframe parachute system. That would be pretty cool. You can pull that in X-Plane. I'm going to have to try that. I think I got the, I think I have a Cirrus SR20 and a 22. Because my girlfriend was flying a Cirrus for a couple of flights during her training, and it had Avidyne avionics in it instead of the Garmin. So we found a Cirrus that had that, and so she could try it out a little bit. NeoFly is doing my head in now. $50. This one is on sale right now. It looks like for 20. It's 25 US dollars. Not sure how that translates to other currencies, but it's 25 US dollars. I think I paid 35 for it or something like that. All right, that's a cool takeoff. That's really cool. Nice. Well, I did choose to sort the missions by how good the view is, basically. So I think they did a good job. Oh, whoops. And so here's a bug. So you can see my OBS mode is still on from the last flight. That's a bug that I've noticed. If you use OBS mode in the G1000, even if you switch to a plane that does not have a G1000, it'll still be stuck in OBS mode on the course you set before. It's pretty crazy. I actually don't know if they're aware of that bug or not.
Squawk 076 for Diamond Kilo India Papa.
Diamond Kilo India Papa radar contact 3 miles southwest of Mike Romeo November Sierra 1,200 feet. Altimeter 29er decimal 8.
Oh, the Cirrus Vision? Does the Cirrus Vision have a parachute too?
Copy Diamond Kilo
Not just the
India Papa.
SR20, SR22? Sorry, Amir, I didn't see that until now. Great app for sure. Is there a fuel calculation? There's not. So if I look at my fuel, it'll be the default 50% and the default pilot, co-pilot, 170 pounds. But On Air Company and NeoFly both, I believe, do the automatic cargo loading, the weight and balance, and the fuel stuff. But in this one, in Skypark, it's just really flexible right now. that fees thing that I just showed, where you pay fees if your pilot is in a different area and you have to transport the pilot. So we were just in Seattle, in the Washington State area in the United States, and now we're in Costa Rica, and I had to pay a fee to transport my pilot from Washington down to Costa Rica to do this flight. So Skypark has introduced like more of a hardcore mode. So they have 2 modes in the settings. So I'll bring that up again. But over here in the settings, under gameplay, there's these 2 modes. Endeavor, this is kind of the more hardcore mode. And then there's this one called Discovery. So you don't have to worry about where your pilot is or anything like that. You can just pick anything. And then, yeah, the Endeavor mode has fees, progression. It says aircraft fleet management's coming soon. So yeah, they're gonna have the 2 modes, I guess. And like On Air has the 2 modes too, like On Air Company, or it's got 4, right? It's got like 4 different servers that you can use. So, oops, switching over here. I'm just turning on the autopilot while I'm chatting. On Air is too complicated. Sometimes you run out of fuel. You can't even load in certain airports. I know. Yeah, it's pretty intense, especially if you play on the Thunder server, which is kind of like the hardest, most realistic server. That's the one where, yeah, you have to, where your pilot is where your pilot is, which I guess is the case now in Skypark with that Endeavor mode. But it looks like they've made it really easy to just accept the fees and transport it, whereas in On Air, if you want to go to another airport to accept a mission somewhere else, you have to like relocate your pilot and then wait an hour or 5 or 10 for him to be transported through like commercial means to get there. So like, yeah, it's definitely a bit crazy. So I do like this one because it's so forgiving. And I really like how they're not all cargo missions. They have like scenic missions, so you can fly those. Like you can use Skypark not just for career mode stuff, but just to discover. Like, you know, I guess they recognize that too, which is why they call the other mode Discovery. But when you go under contracts here, so what I did, you can see I filtered for piston aircraft. I filtered down here under advanced. I actually sorted by topography variation, so differences, and you know, that's why we're flying near mountains now, is because it recommended one with a more diverse topography. Do you have to use live weather? I don't think so. No, I don't think it locks you into time of day or weather. I happen to have it running live weather, but as far as I know, no, you can choose whatever settings you want in the sim. Another thing this gives you is you can see here the types of missions you choose. So these tours and experiences, like we just did the experiences one, and it took us to Friday Harbor Airport, which I guess is a throwback to Microsoft Flight Sim X. And that's an airport in Washington State where I guess it was the default airport in Microsoft Flight Sim X. And they have different ones like that. So they're more like tours and scenic things more than, you know, cargoing and earning money. So it's kind of cool. And then they have bush trips as well, and they're multi-leg trips. So I almost feel like this is a good extension of the bush trips that are in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Like if you've done all those, or you want a different variation, you want to choose somewhere else in the world to fly, it seems like you could use Skypark for that and not even do the career mode stuff, which is pretty sweet. Something about On Air that you can do though, if the time of day bugs you, like normally when I'm using On Air, it's after a work day. And so it'll be dark outside already. And I like using live weather and live time and all that, but what you can do in On Air Company is go to the global options. It's in one of the top menus, and there's a time offset. So you can do a time offset of like -8 hours. And then once you load in and it starts tracking your flight, it'll automatically change the time for you and just subtract 8 hours. So you don't have to worry about setting up the time of day manually for every single flight. So it's kind of nice. So if you use On Air and you want to fly during the day, I would check that out. On Air can get a little frustrating with just like you know, you want to try a different plane out and you're like, oh, I don't have the endorsement for that type of plane. I need to fly my current plane to the next airport, the airport that has the plane that I want to rent. And is there a rentable one there? Like there's this, it's much more like true to life style planning than this one is. Definitely gave us a good scenic flight though. Look at this. It's beautiful. I didn't even know you could sort by that. That might also be a new feature. Looks good. I also think flying in more remote areas like this too is really nice for frame rates. Like I do a lot of flying around like the LA airspace and it's just so laggy just with all the buildings and stuff. Like flying in these remote locations and doing more of these is really just, it's just really nice to have a high frame rate. Feels good. What about helicopters? They do have, I don't know if the missions in this are specific to helicopters or not, but you can pick helicopters here. So I don't know if they support like helicopter landing pads or landing zones. I haven't tried it myself, so I'm not really sure. They don't have search and rescue as a type either. So that's one thing that I think NeoFly has over the other ones, is that the variety of mission types in NeoFly is much more. You have passengers, cargo, VIPs, drop zones, like the medical ones where you have to land it, find a spot to land in a random location, latitude, longitude. That's super cool. I haven't done the helicopter stuff, but if they have, yeah, for those search and rescue and those drop zone ones, helicopter sounds perfect. I haven't tried a helicopter yet in Microsoft Flight Sim. Yeah, NeoFly. I think NeoFly is like the first place for anyone to start with one of these. I think it's more complicated than Skypark, but it's free, so you don't have to pay $25 to get started. You can see if you like it. And then there's such a variety of mission types in NeoFly that there's probably something for everyone. And then Skypark, like I feel like this one, I like that it's only $25 one-time fee. It's not a subscription. On Air Company is a subscription, so you just pay for this once. This is made by Orbex, so if you've ever used Orbex in the past, you know their stuff is like high quality. So yeah, I mean I think this is awesome. It's like it's a little more casual, and I like that it has the bush trips and stuff like that, so the scenic routes and things they're flying, it feels like more like editorial routes, like editorialized stuff, if that makes sense. And if you go to the updates here, so like this was last Wednesday's update, so they have like, the team gives you an update, and this is like a rum run, so they made a rum tasting tour, so through the Caribbean. So they have this like hashtag rum tour. You enter that in the search field and it gives you these new contracts based on this new rum tasting theme, which is cool. And they have things like contracts, like they have deliver COVID vaccine contracts. So they'll put in like, real world, like topical stuff as well, which is kind of cool. So this is the one I just did, this Friday Harbor one. I guess they did this last month, but this was that new experience one. So we flew to Friday Harbor, and they give you a, like a history behind it. They tell you about the airport. They mentioned that it was in Flight Simulator X as the default airport. Things like that. So, oh yeah, this is funny too. So all these video cards. So the Coyote content, Coyote is like the illicit missions in Skypark. So I think they're just like making fun of the, the shortage of video cards, and you can run counterfeit video card missions or something like that. So it's just it's kind of cool how they update it based on real world stuff. I think that's fun. Yeah, what's the company's Parallels 42? Parallel 42. Yeah, it's good stuff. And their site right now says it's on sale. So I showed this earlier, but I think I paid $35 for it. I guess it's on sale the next 2 days. So I'm not sponsored or anything like that. I like all of them. I'm too little to be sponsored, so I'm not telling you guys to buy this, but it's cool that it's cheaper now, $26 or 21 euros. I think I paid 30 something. I have an on-air subscription too, and I've also tried NeoFly. No, they're all cool. They're all a little different. We're gonna make it over that, right? What is the rule? Like, since I can see the terrain behind this crest, I know I'm higher than it. I did try one of those NeoFly search and rescue ones. It was pretty crazy. It took me like I had to like do 3 flybys to figure out which area I could possibly land in. And I had to do some like extended like dirt taxiing just in the middle of this area that I landed at to be able to take off again. It was pretty sketchy, but it was fun. This is one of the reasons I like the Diamond too, is just like this entire glass, like 180 degree windshield is just awesome. You don't have like the big, what is that, strut or whatever I don't know what the piece of the plane is called when it's right up here and you're blocking your view in front of you. But that kind of beam that goes up from the corner is not here in the Diamond, which is really cool. Oh, it's just called a post? All right, then there's no post. I don't have a more, like a fancier name for it. Yeah, no post then. Good to know. Oh, we're actually almost there. Whoops. We're actually about to fly right over it. All right, we're gonna figure out where this is. I guess it's gonna be right under us. Is that it right there? I think is it that dirt strip? Oh, let me go back to the contract really quickly and see what it says here. It says 3,000 feet of asphalt. All right, there it is. All right, yeah, we flew right over it. Definitely paying attention. Are there missions that would use the icon? Oh, I don't think so. I don't know about... I haven't flown one that's used the icon yet. But, I mean, for NeoFly, because they have those search and rescue ones, I think for that kind of, like, emergency landing, search and rescue stuff, like, NeoFly is the way to go. Just because I don't think they're available in any of the other ones. That's a cool idea, though. I don't know if they have any there in water. Actually, earlier I pulled up NeoFly briefly because I just wanted to show the interface really quickly. And one of the missions I selected was a search and rescue that was right at a lake. So you had to fly. It was like right at a lake. So I do think those are there. I don't know if you can filter by them or anything, but in that case, yeah, there was one of those right near the water, so the icon might have been a candidate. All right, where is this runway? Oh, there it is right there. All right, we're going in hot. And you see I don't know if you guys can see this on the stream, but my frame rate has dropped significantly. All right, we're gonna go from the other direction. Yeah, my frame rate just suddenly dropped when we got closer to this. I don't know why. We're in a pretty remote area. Not much room in the icon for rescue. Yeah, that's true. Carry like 50 pounds of cargo or something. All right, we're gonna have to go up and over this hill right in front of us. Oh, float planes. Is there another float plane in Microsoft Flight Sim yet? I don't know if it's in the marketplace, but I swear I saw one that had floats on it. I think it was like I feel like it was like a dual engine Piper or something that had floats. But I don't think there's anything actually in the marketplace yet. Oh, the bird dog. That's it. That's it. And does it actually work? Can you land on the water with it? I assume you can, but so that would be the first marketplace plane that's had floats then, huh? Nice, it does? That's cool. I haven't tried the bird dog. I haven't flown the Icon for a while either, actually. This is a little tricky to get into. Need to pull up, lead off this speed. Okay, time for another. Oh man, this is not good. Time for another shaky slip with the stick. Little sketchy, but it works. All right, that was a little sketchy. That's pretty hard. That's pretty challenging just because of the hills on both sides. There's a hill in front of us right there and one behind us. Yikes. The wind was going the other way. Yeah, it's I think we might be in it. It just says 2 knots though. Not too bad. Yeah. Definitely not doing the textbook here. This is a cool spot though. I think maybe just like all the trees and stuff, like it really killed my frame rate at the end too. All right, let's see if they're happy. Let's check the app again. All right, now we can deliver the bow ties. Very important. All right, so here, that was an example of like a contract instead of one of the, just the exploration one. So in this case, you get money and XP, and then your karma here changes mattering if you've done evil or good jobs. So if you're doing like the stolen merchandise cargo trips and stuff like that. So now what I'm curious about is, because this so let's see, MRPA, this is where we landed. So I'm wondering if they made it easy to find a contract from this current location. So if I clear this and I go down here, okay, yeah. So I can just find it on the map, and then I can find the next flight. So if you're doing the Endeavor mode or whatever, which is more the career mode thing, it remembers where you last landed. So if you want to avoid a fee in that mode, you need to go from the airport you just landed at. Or you could, do something at least nearby so the fee is minimized if it has to travel from, this location up to this location. But at the same time, I guess because there's no, at least it's not in there yet, they don't have any aircraft management, you just can fly whatever plane you want. So I could go ahead and just decide, all right, now I'm going to fly a turboprop from here. If I can take off, fly a turboprop from here to another spot. How do you call up the tablet? This is actually just, it's a fake tablet. This is just a Windows application that looks like a tablet. They just use this in the UI. So this isn't actually my tablet. This is just what the app looks like. And I'm using a single monitor as well. So all I do is just, I'm just tabbing. I'm just hitting Alt Tab on my keyboard to switch to it. And then another option is there's this little pin in the top right. If you hit this little pin icon, then even when I switch back to my flight sim, it'll actually stay on top. And you can change the size of this too. So if I go under settings here, under display, so this is the always on top option, which is the pin. And then it looks like you can do this to window frame. You can put it in a window frame so it looks like a regular Windows app. And then, yeah, they have a light and a dark theme. And then here you can hit smaller and larger. This actually, you won't see the difference because in my streaming software, it's just scaling it. But if you hit smaller and larger, it does actually make it smaller and larger. All right, way high blue seaman. Gotta descend now into Sydney? What? You're flying to Sydney right now? Oh, you're talking about the flight sim, aren't you? Not real life? For some reason, I was like, whoa, he's on a plane to Sydney right now. That's cool. All right, have a good landing, man. Have a good approach. I'll see you next time. So Jim, those are all the options you can use to make this easier to use. So you can change the size of it. You can pin it so it's on top of your flight sim, so you can make it really small and put it in the corner all the time. Or you can just leave it in the background and just change to it, like holding Alt and hitting Tab to switch programs on Windows. And that'll let you just switch from flight sim over to the Skypark app here. But yeah, you don't need a tablet for this. This is just it's just a Windows program. All right, so I'm gonna do another one here. So if I want to avoid the fees, I would take off from there from MRPA. I actually wonder if I can, let's see, if I cleared all the filters. So I guess these are the only 2 flights from that airport. There's this one that's 230 miles. We need to transport the tanning lotion, which sounds very important. Or this shorter one here, 28 miles. Oh, this is an illicit mission, so it's the Coyotes, like the evil company. Move knockoff WeForce GPUs. That's what I was looking at before. They had that photo of GPUs, like a bunch of NVIDIA cards. Instead of GeForce, WeForce. Move the knockoff GPUs. So we could do that one and take off from here. Let's go ahead and do that one because we're still on the ground. So now we just need to load in. So this time, because I'm flying from the airport that we're already at, there are no fees. So this is going to be all profit. It's not going to need to travel. Our pilot is not going to need to travel from this airport to wherever we're departing. we just do it from here. So we can just hit begin. Okay, now we're already at the airport, loaded in. So I just hit load and it loads them in. And we're going to, from MRPA to Mike Romeo Alpha Juliet. Is J Juliet? I feel like I haven't said the J in so long. So we're going to MRAJ, 52 feet, Unlit Airport, grass strip. That's gonna potentially suck. See if I can do it. 2,600 feet. No. My girlfriend's shaking her head that it's too short. Can I? It's gonna be sketchy. She said it's gonna be sketchy, especially in the Diamond. I would guess like 1,500 feet. All right, let's check this one out. Okay, so MRAJ. So in this case, because I'm not going from the world map, I need to set the flight plan here. And as far as the fuel, it doesn't manage your fuel for you. Oh, I forgot to switch to my full tank when I was landing. But at any time, like with this one, with Skypark, you manage your fuel and stuff yourself, so you can just do whatever you want. If you wanted to change the payload to simulate something heavier, you could do that too. I wouldn't be surprised if they added this stuff into Skypark too. Like they're making other improvements. They say they're going to add aircraft management, like fleet management. So it wouldn't surprise me if they added in the weight and balance stuff and fuel management as well later. We'll see how it goes. All right, update the altimeter. And now I'm just gonna, it's probably listed under nearest airports. MRAJ. It says it's 25 miles. So I'm gonna scroll down to that area. There it is right there. Hit direct. That's it. Hit enter to activate. And then over here, we'll get our new flight plan. So it should go up to this area here. I think it might still be updating. Can we get a chat check? Sorry, I just saw that. Sorry, you said it twice. 5 by 5 by 5. It's like a radio check, but a chat check. Loud and clear. All right, there, it just updated. All right, so we're just flying this direction. Let's go. We got, how many miles is this? 28 miles. And the other thing it shows again that I'll review is under the info tab. It shows, thankfully, oh, what? This is awesome. Spotify embeds. What? Coyote music? What is this? They have their own soundtrack. What? They have their own soundtrack for the game to play this music while you're flying. All right, so we're gonna deliver knockoff video cards. So it shows our highest obstacle, which is really convenient. So we know 1,500 feet, we need to be above that for the flight. So I can go ahead and I'll just put in 2,500 feet. And then I'm gonna set our flight level change again, just in case I wanna turn on the autopilot. All right, and let me turn on the wind this time on the PFD. See if the wind has changed. All right, so we should take off from the other direction. So we'll taxi over there. The music I'm playing now is like copyright free though. This isn't the music, but I had never seen that. I guess they added suggested music to listen to while you're flying certain missions, which is really cool. That's unique. I haven't seen that in any of the other ones. All right, I'm putting our flaps up. Flaps in the middle notch for takeoff. Yeah, the wind is really low. It's only a 2-knot wind, but I'm going to take off into it from this direction. It's a pretty dead windsock right there. It's kind of sad looking. Oh, the tablet's up. Sorry about that. Sorry, guys. Thanks. Thanks, Diablo. There was a very sad looking windsock. Take my word for it. Well, it doesn't. I'm just not trying to go too fast. No, I'm back taxing. No. Word. Yeah, sometimes I have to manually change that. So like I'll be seeing the flight sim, but I won't realize that I still have that up. So thanks for pointing it out. All right, there we go. Let's go. Sinking the heading bug. Full throttles. Girlfriend would not be happy about that windsock. All right, I'm gonna need to bank to the right so we don't crash into that mountain in front of us, or hill. Go in that direction anyway. Okay, I put our flaps up already. And we're pitching for 80. Can climb a bit higher. We're only going up to 2,500, so not a big deal. It looks like we're clear of all these hills around here, so
Central America
we're good
Center
to go.
Diamond November 21 Kilo India Papa is type Diamond DA42 miles northeast of Mike Romeo Papa Alpha. Request flight following.
And I have the co-pilot turned on AI mode for managing radio comms, so just automatically checking us in with flight following and all that.
Squawk 1335 Diamond Kilo India Papa.
Diamond Kilo India Papa radar contact 2 miles northeast of Mike Romeo Papa Alpha 1,300 feet. Altimeter 29.88.
2988. I'm gonna update that.
Copy Diamond Kilo India Papa.
All right, 2988. Okay, we're at 2,000. We're just gonna go up to 2,500. All right, we're almost there. All right, turned on the autopilot. We are in nav mode, altitude hold mode, 2,500. 6 knot headwind right now. All right, we're just going here. Let's see, 24 miles. We're gonna cross over this area here, this whatever this water is, this river, this I don't know where I am. Cross off this section of water here, and then we'll pretty much be there. Be contract number 3. Let's see, this one paid what, $700 or something? I'm not actually sure, like the long-term leveling system in Skypark, like what you get when you go higher and higher. I think it says it unlocks just higher paying contracts. And there's some sort of reputation system in it too that you have. So it'll show, when you complete each one, it'll show you a reputation gain. I think I can see that under progress. Yeah, so here they have level up, and then there's some hidden, oh yeah, it's reliability. So the only way to figure out your reliability is you actually have to fly to a specific airport. KMKC. I think is that Kansas City or something? And it says you have to fly there and take Bridget out to lunch, and it'll show you your reliability scores. Higher scores mean better pay and additional perks in the future. Not sure what that means. Tracks how reliable you are when you accept contracts. So if you're punctual, it goes up, but if you cancel or you fail to deliver in time, then it goes down. So I'm not sure I'm sure they have plans for like what that translates to other than higher paying stuff. But right now it just looks like it unlocks higher paying contracts. Pulling our throttle back a little bit. So I think I read it in the POH for this plane. It's when you're cruising, you just set the throttle between 60 and 90%. Here on the load, the throttle percentage load right here, and then that'll determine your balance between economy and speed. So you can go all the way down to about 60% load for best fuel economy. And if you haven't played with the drone camera yet, I think the default shortcut is the apostrophe key. So if you use autopilot, it makes it a lot easier. Obviously, if you're using autopilot, so you don't have to worry about flying it while you're using the camera. But if you hit apostrophe, it goes over to this mode. And then in the top menu here under camera, it shows it as the showcase camera, but it's also the drone camera. It's kind of the same thing. And what you can do is change the speeds here, the drone speed. So I use the keys W, A, S, and D, move around like this. And then if you turn that speed down, you can make it a little more precise. So it moves more slowly. And then R and F, move it up and down like this. And then the rotation speed, this is controlled by the arrow keys. And you can turn that down too. So then you can kind of get the camera into the position you want it more easily when it's slower like that. And then there's also this focus mode. And if you turn the focus mode to auto, basically it'll focus on whatever's in the center of the screen. So if I move this really closely, you'll see it's focusing on the plane, and now the background gets blurred out. Or you can control that manually. If you have it on manual mode here, then you can use this drone focus slider. So if you've ever seen people with those really blurred out photos they post screenshots of, that's how you do that. So if you want it really blurry, you want to use the zoom level. So the more zoom you're using, when you focus, the more blurry everything else will be. So now you can see with that extra zoom, just like how blurry everything else in the background is compared to before. So more zoom equals more blurriness when you focus. So that's how you see some of those like super like realistic looking shots like this that people do. When the scenery is just all blurred out in the background. It's really fun to play around with, so it's another reason to be comfortable with flicking the autopilot on. Yeah, so then you can dial it in like this. And then you can actually move the drone camera to the inside of the plane too. So if you've seen those shots where people are like right behind like this is how they get those shots. And now you can go into camera and then change the focus again. It's a little tricky when it's moving, but you could use active pause. And then the zoom, if I pull the zoom down a bit, it'll be a little bit easier. There's like a special little spot you go to get the people to show up. I'm gonna turn the speed down even more so I can get it right in there. So that's kind of like how you can mess around with the camera like this. Make really cool screenshots. Now it feels like we're a passenger. And then you just hit apostrophe again to go back and toggle back and forth between the two cameras. And I don't know how many contests they've run, but I did see just a few weeks ago, the official Microsoft team is running a contest for like a 3080 graphics card or something. So I bet they'll do more of that in the future, and they just had a screenshot contest. So if you want to, you know, participate in those, that's the basics of using the drone camera to get some of those cool like cinematic shots. All right, so we are 10 miles away, and we have a little bit of a headwind still. So what I'm going to do is go back to Skypark app, check our current flight. So if I forgot how to get there, or if I lost it, I can just go to this conduit thing. That's the current flight. And then here under the to-dos, it shows where we're going. And so if you click it, it expands this info. So we have a 2,600 foot grass runway unlit, and it's at sunset. So that's going to be great. If we don't get there in the next few minutes, it's going to be bad. And then, so runways are 23 and 05. So our current heading is almost 05. So actually 05 will be pretty much directly into the wind. So again, I'm going to set our OBS knob. I'm going to switch over to heading mode, sync our heading bug, and then switch to heading mode. And now I'm going to use the OBS mode and switch this over. Oh, sorry, I'm still there. So we want runway is 05. So we'll go 050. So I'll use the course knob here and just dial in 050 right there. And now actually what I can do is, because it's not we're not much off course, I can go ahead and switch over to nav mode again, and then it'll switch over and fly us to our new path based on that OBS heading. Should put us pretty well on course. And I need to descend as well. Airport's almost at sea level. Yeah, it's at 52 feet. So we're going to go down to 1,000 feet for now, vertical speed down, and pull our throttle out quite a bit. Grass runway, yeah, this is scary. Grass runways are, if I don't spot it far enough out, I'm just going to have to circle like 3 times. These are the most challenging. So, yeah, doing it live, a little bit scary. Suddenly the picture will just cut out, and I'll just hide it and pretend like I landed it. 10 minutes later, the stream comes back on, and I'm there, and I'm like, yeah, I did it. Easy. I love that they added OBS mode. I don't actually know if it was available in the mods yet, but OBS mode is on the G1000 and the G3000 now. So as of a couple patches ago, I think it was Sim Update 3 or something, they added it. It's very good. All right, so it is 5 miles. It's so hard to find the grass strip sometimes. I think that might be it right there. Is that a grass strip? It's so hard to tell where it is. One of the keys I don't have bound is the smart camera. But the smart camera, I mean, it's a little bit cheating, but I think that might be it right there. What it'll do is it'll look directly at the airport that you're flying to. I think that might be it. That looks like it to me. There's some lights over there, but I can't zoom in that far. I think it's this right here. That looks like the best candidate to me. You think that's it too? All right. It's good enough for me. Now, can I keep my eye on it? All right, we need to go a little more to the right. Thanks for the quality on this stream, 1440p. No problem. I have an ultra wide, but I usually do it in windowed mode just because I can keep the chat on the side. I just use a single monitor, so it's a bit easier for me to manage everything. Is that it right there? Now I'm starting to think that's not it. I think that is it. There's some lights over here too, though. I think this is it right here. I don't know, guys. Either way, I think I can land there, so. Coyote mission, just land anywhere close. They'll take care of the rest. Yeah. Yeah, they don't care. Just get the goods down. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, I'm a little low. Sweet. Yeah, I think this is it. It was. Nice. Stolen videos. Not a great runway. Yeah, stolen video cards. Park aircraft and drop off the knockoff WeForce GPUs. Man, any later and I wouldn't have found this. Let's pull right up to the building. It would be so funny if there's just a dude standing there, like all sketchy looking. Just a guy standing there with the back of a pickup truck, just the lift down, waiting for me to load it. I think NeoFly is the first one I think I've seen that has custom scenery and stuff. I think you have to donate to unlock it, but they have. Yeah, this is the warehouse. This is where they're going. They have like I haven't done the missions yet, but they have custom scenery. You donate to unlock and download. And then when you do certain missions, it'll put objects in the world. Like it'll put things, you know, like in this case, they would have like, I don't know if they do this for those kind of missions, but they would have like, you know, the dude with the pickup truck here waiting for you, which is pretty funny. All right, now we just need to deliver the WeForce GPUs. All right. That's pretty good pay. Transport test Coyote. All right. Not quite leveled up yet, but that was pretty fun. All right, guys, I think that's gonna do it for me. With a machete, yeah. A dude standing there with a machete. That would be awesome. All right, that was 2 hours of contracts. I think that's enough for me for now. I'm gonna get a bite to eat and be done for the day. I think it'll start to get repetitive if I just keep doing these. So, but hopefully I gave a decent overview of Skypark and how it compares to some of the other ones. So. Yeah, I think it's worth checking out. It's definitely one of the more casual ones, but I think I spend most of my time using on-air company more so than this one. But every time I use this one, I just like the simplicity of it and how I can just go anywhere in the world. So it's pretty fun. No problem. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Amir, Jim, JM, thanks for hanging out, guys. WMKI Ground, good to see you again. You think your mind up? You made your mind up? Yeah, I still think the least risk is trying NeoFly first because it's free. You don't even have to pay anything to try it. See how NeoFly works for you. And then if you want something with I think the interface is the big difference. NeoFly and On Air, they're more complicated to use than this one. And then NeoFly is free. On Air is a subscription that has a trial. And then this one is a one-time cost through Orbex. So if you just go to the Orbex site, that's where you get it. And I'll just put the URL to it again. This is their site. I'll just put this in the chat if you want to go check it out. But cool. Thanks for hanging out again, guys. I'll see you next stream or next video, and have fun flying the rest of the night. Cheers. Oh, fly all players. That's a good idea. I'm down to do that. Yeah, I had it. I use live mode most of the time, but yeah, I'm totally down to do that if there's enough of us that want to fly together. I've only done multiplayer a couple times. It could be cool too. We could each do, like, if there are multiple people with Skypark, we could load the same flights and do the fly the video cards together or something. That could be pretty awesome. Good suggestion. All right, guys. I'm gone for real now. See you. Thanks for hanging out again. Have a good one.